Morning, smoothers. Welcome to Pissweek Airlines Flight 711 to Hobart, Tasmania. It's a delightful 10 degrees Celsius. Just doing final checks before takeoff. Lip balm, check. Essential flying equipment, check. Seatbelt, check. Oh, I hope you brought your own seatbelts. Look at that though. Well, it's 7:12 and it's already starting to get, the days are getting longer. I love that. We have the shortest day of the year in winter, and then the days start to get longer again, but we still have August, September of winter. It's actually quite pleasant today though. I mean, I had my usual hot shower, got dressed, so I'm a bit toasty. By the time I get to town though, she'll be brisk. There's something about working under the shadow of a mountain. Whereas down here, it's the fucking tropics. It's 10 degrees Celsius. I thought I'd just go live and open up can't open up the panel, but just let people come and vent because the Zavgirl saga continues. And I had on my channel yesterday as a result of the live yesterday morning where I was questioning what is the real issue here. And to me, the real issue is why people can even FOIA request autopsy photos when they're not related to the case in any way, shape or form. That's a critical issue. And there was a lovely comment from someone who hasn't engaged in our community before in America who was just such a great comment and mentioned moving to Australia. And I just want to say, come with us. We'll have you. We like reasonable people. Look at birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Right, if anyone sees Morgan M floating around, can you let her know I sang her happy birthday? But anyway, I thought I'd just go live because I'm driving to work and give you guys a space where you can continue to chat because the Natasha Cooper interaction with all of this is also really scuzzy, right? That's a whole new... I was prepared to... So be it. However, I do question her morals. Some discretion, culled a few of the photos that were really graphic. For everyone who continues to defend her saying, they're just autopsy photos, they weren't. That's why people were upset. They were, here is a suitcase with a deceased child in it, photos. Here is the deceased decomposing child out of the suitcase, photos. And like I said, if people are voyeuristic, and we know that Zav is, her coverage of Kylie Roddy, if you haven't worked out her shtick yet, I don't know what more she has to do for you to realise that. Place for everyone on YouTube. I'm never going to say people can or can't watch a channel. And no one in the Zavgirl saga who was talking about how they felt about the autopsy photos was telling anyone what they can and can't watch. I'm so sick of the channels that come in to defend you and they use lines like that. Like, actually watch and listen to it before you start talking because you just sound like fucking idiots. Hi, Bristol. I respect anyone who doesn't care But for me, it's like I'm always trying to think of the real issue, the core issue, and for me, it was why this stuff is even accessible to people that are not connected to the case at all. I'm sorry, just because you cover the case on a YouTube channel, it doesn't mean you're connected to the case. And I'm just disgusted that you can apply this shit and pay for it and have it handed to you and then put it up in your Patreon in a Dropbox without password protecting it. So guess where it was very quickly, Reddit. And then Natasha Cooper got her grubby little hands on it and put it behind a friggin' paywall. Like, people are paying her to see stolen property. Like, I've said this from 2018. If you wanted to write a soap opera, don't bother. Just write about what shit happens on YouTube and you'll have a successful show. And I was listening to Tracy The Truth just before, and she was saying, look, if you've got a feeling about the Zav girl stuff, have your say and then shut the fuck up. And look, I get that. I mean, I'm not a keep flogging a dead horse kind of person. Like, I don't want to go over and over the same stuff every day. But I think her point was more about these channels that are monetized. And they've seen, again, an opportunity to make some decent coin. Well, this is why I wanted to go live, because I am not monetized on this channel. I never will be. So you can't use that argument with me. And I didn't gain one sub talking about it yesterday either. So I'm not doing it for subscribers either. I just like giving our community a place where we can talk about shit without being scared of having a differing opinion, being a devil's possibility into the mix. You guys also, it's an opportunity for you to all just come in and hang out together, which I love, offering that. So all the channels that are crapping on about, yeah, we know, you're pissed off with Zav, you keep talking about it, you're making money. Well, it's the second live I've done about it. It's also another one from the car, which isn't ideal. And I'm not monetized, so find another reason, have a crack at me. And also, I think I still remain, I think the truth, some people are starting to comment on why this stuff is even available. And she was proposing some sort of legislation that prevents people from accessing the autopsy files of minor children. And I agreed. That was what I was talking about yesterday. Like, in a country like Australia, where our privacy laws are so fucking strict that even the surviving housemates from the Idaho 4 murders are still not named in our media. And if there's photos, like, the photo of the 4 who died and the other 2 housemates all out on the veranda, if that photo is shown in Australia, it's still blurred out. Like, we have very strict privacy laws. So for me, or any Australian, we can't access autopsy results. And I'm fucking glad we can't. Because look at the shit that happens if you can. Hey, Jamin. There's no moderators in the chat. But I've heard of that happening with. Did you put an emoji? Oh, you're not really an emoji person. Because there was a glitch on YouTube a while ago, like not that long ago, that I fell victim to repeatedly, and it took me a while to remember it was doing it and to stop doing it. But if I wrote a sentence and then put an emoji at the end to assist people in understanding the tone of my comment, because I'm so friggin' sarcastic and dry that I have to put like a little smiley face or something so they know that it's intended to be funny, But YouTube deleted the actual sentence and just left these dickhead emojis at the end, which was really embarrassing because sometimes it was in a live where someone was covering a really, I mean, it was probably a true crime thing, but someone's covering a pretty serious topic, and there's me sitting in the chat just grinning like an idiot without any comment. So, I don't know. It could be, have you got all chat, not just top chat or live chat or whatever you're meant to click on? That often fixes things when people think their comments are being deleted. Because why does YouTube even have the default with top comments? What makes a comment the top comment should be visible anyway? No, it should be all comments. If people only want to see top comments, maybe like in a chat that's, got 50,000 people talking, maybe you do just want to see the top comments, however they are determined. It's not like we can like comments, or anything like on Twitter, where the top tweets are easy to identify and they are segregated. But such a stupid option to have as the default. Oh, we're not going to give you all the comments, just the top ones. But we're not going to tell you how we decide if they're top comments or not either. Oh, look, that's why I like YouTube, though, because it's so flawed and annoying. And I'm really patient, and I love watching creators getting really angry and frustrated. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wired weirdly, but I take great pleasure in watching people getting frustrated by technology and complaining about how shit it is when it's actually fucking amazing and it's continually improving. And I don't know if you guys are fans of Louis C.K. or not, but he does a routine about it, and it resonated so much with me because I had the same view as him. It's like, you make a better one then, mate. If this is so fucking pathetic and bullshit, and you're going to slam your fist down and swear at your phone or your computer, you make a better version. Off you go. Because I just look at technology and I'm amazed by it, and I know that it's flawed. Everything is fucking flawed. That's why the world is amazing. I don't want a perfect anything. I like seeing things improve because people work out how to fix things. It's exciting to me. But watching people losing their shit because technology that they could never, ever invent or recreate or make isn't perfect, and how fucking annoyed and frustrated they are about it and how abusive they become. I laugh my head off at those people because I just think, you fucking losers. Why do you do? Jesus, show some gratitude that we even have this technology that has done so many amazing things for people's lives. And yeah, if it's so fucking terrible, you make a better version, Oh, look, I'm sure the design team's flawed too, Jamin. Look, I'm not saying they're perfect either. But to me, like I said, I don't get upset by this shit. I think it's funny. I just love that technology exists, whether it's working properly or not. Just the fact that we have this shit is amazing to me. I mean, it still works well enough for me to be on a tiny little island halfway to Antarctica from mainland Australia, down on a little coastal town with a population of 3,000, and I can go live and talk to people all over the world and show you footage of my floof or photos of where I spent the weekend. It's fucking insane. It's insane to me. And the stuff that continues to be developed, and I mean, look at some of the stuff Finn and I talk about on that shit. You know, look at how quickly AI is evolving. I mean, trust me, I don't want to be around when AI are ruling the world, and they will, and sucked in humans, you know. But that stuff is fascinating to me. It's exciting. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that I have a phone that allows me to go live on a platform and chat to people on the other side of the world. So, like, YouTube's free, but I've got YouTube Premium on my other channel, and obviously I pay for StreamYard, but it's a pittance compared to like what the first mobile phones cost us, and still cost us. I spend like $30 a month, and I can do all this shit, even if it's clunky and it's got glitches. I don't care. It's fucking awesome. It's fun as fuck to me. So how about this Ape Girl drama, right? I do want to do a live on the sort of moral, well, not moral, ethical. I'm sick of the creators that go, your moral compass is your moral compass. Don't force it on other people. Well, morals, it's not. It's not. Morals just make, if you've got good morals, it just makes you a good person. It's not about forcing. I mean, if you're forcing everyone to become a bleeding alcoholic, then complain about it. But if people are saying, where are your ethics and your morals? Don't force your moral compass on other people. Well, hang out with people who have a fucking moral compass, because the people who don't are shit. It's not about force. I can't force anyone to wake up and have morals and ethics, but I can talk about the morality of an action, or the lack of ethics, or just the lack of discretion. I'm not going to force my morals on anyone else, but I can comment on people who don't seem to have any. I was a fucking criminal lawyer. 90% of my clients had fuck all morals. If they had any, they wouldn't have committed the crimes they did. Is that Dan? Yeah, you Groover. Why do I listen to all these idiots on YouTube? That is what I really am questioning. I listened to a creator last night, and I really would love to start reacting to some of these people, because I'm actually really funny when I heckle people. But this particular this particular creator, I don't know exactly what they create, but you know, they create things in their real life, just not sure what they create online. But my heckling was hilarious. I can't do it though now, because I've done it once, and I'll try to repeat the lines that just came out of my mouth naturally last night and have me in stitches. It's like every sentence that came out of her mouth, I one up to her with the arsiest one-liner imaginable, but there's no way I can replicate that. I've got to save things and like listen to a few minutes and go, okay, this has potential. So just Shelve it till you can go live and do a reaction to it. But my God, she sounded dumb. And just when I thought she'd stopped being dumb, she'd be even dumber. It was glorious. I love someone trying to be passionate about a topic and take a stand using like an argument that a high schooler would use. You know the people on YouTube that their only argument is always things like they're just jealous. Those people. Oh my God. We're all Buck Rogers. Jesus, that's a blast from the past. Just realised I have my little Bluetooth socket rocket whistling in the background. That's probably been really annoying. I was waiting to connect to my phone, but no Bluetooth turned on my phone while I'm driving to works. But yeah, the people that argue things and say shit like they're just jealous, that makes me laugh. I mean, look, some of their arguments annoy the crap out of me too. Oh, look, we've got a new sign. It's 12 minutes to Hobart City. Why do we have that sign? We're not a big place. We've got 500,000 people here. Why do we need a sign telling us how long it's going to take? Really? Like, we all know. I drive this road every day. I mean, okay, it's handy for the tourists. I know. But honestly, they could have just done that was huge. This is the sort of shit you'd expect to see on the highway in LA. And the fact they even say Hobart City. I mean, Hobart's not big enough to have, like, designated areas. You know, like how some cities have a CBD and downtown and all that sort of shit. Like, you can walk from one end to Hobart to the other in about an hour, if that. We don't need to have, like... Oh, my God, there's another one up ahead. Do we need two? They're fucking huge. Let's see, everyone. How long until we get to Hobart City? Oh, 11 minutes. Yeah, that'd be about right, because it's about a minute since I saw the last gigantic sign. Good old Tassie. I don't know, everybody. I think we need two gigantic signs on the highway about 100 metres apart, telling everyone how long it'll take them to get to town, even though it's only 10 minutes from here. It's important information. Bloody hell. I mean, if that sign said something fun, like, I don't know, grab a snack, we've got 12 minutes till we get to Hobart City, I'd be a fan, but there's two gigantic signs. That's going to be my new spectator sport, is seeing if that extra minute of travel, if the second sign is cheeky and says, you've somehow managed to travel for 2 minutes instead of one since the last sign. What is the point of that? Good old taxpayers' money going into shit like that to make all of our lives absolutely no different. Awesome stuff. I love this place. It's got a really warm sense of humour. Oh my God, Raven's treasure chest is here? Where the hell have you been? And how are you? How the hell are you? I love this. I love it. blasts from the past. I mean, there's a comment under my Zavgirl live yesterday from Pugs. And I'm like, all these little OG people are still hanging around, haven't seen or heard anything about Pugs for a long time. But there's Pugs in my comments. Yeah, I'm great, thank you, Raven. I mean, I'm heading to work, so, you know, there's a tiny element of, I don't want to be at work. I know what my day's like. I know what my calendar's full of. It's full of work. I have, I don't know, 9 clients or something today. It's crazy. And I've still got to finish up notes and emails and text messages from clients I spoke to yesterday, because we have like an emergency time slot at 4 p.m. If a client calls and they've got like a hearing the next day or something important, then these emergency spots get used. And look, I'm not a fan, but I also know that it's, you know, people are freaking the fuck out. But I also know that it's kind of stupid to call us for the first time when you've got a hearing the very next day. Like, we are a tiny service. There's literally Sarah and I giving legal advice at the moment. That's it. So we've got what's known in the industry as a huge fucking backlog. So, yeah, people that don't pull their finger out and book a time with us before their hearing date, there's a slight element of, did you need to leave it to the last minute? So we've got these emergency time slots, but the problem is we have, I mean, lawyers have to take notes of absolutely fucking everything that you say to the client, all the advice, all of their instructions, all the information they give you. And it takes a while. And if you're on the phone for an hour at the end of the day, those notes don't get done till the next day. And then there's all these actions that come from our conversations too, like sending emails and text messages and shit. So, yeah, I've got a mountain of that stuff to do first thing this morning, because that's usually what I do at the end of the day. I tidy all that stuff up. But because I'm not working again this week after today, I don't have an emergency appointment slot today. So hooray for that. I only actually have them on Mondays and Fridays. I don't like the Friday ones either. I want to, you know, start my weekend relaxed, knowing that I've got all my work done, clean slate for the new week. But now we sort of, because we're so backlogged, there's always work that needs to be done the next day, and I don't like that. I like nipping everything in the bud. Won't be able to read chat for a while, so I'm not ignoring anyone. But I think you can all see that we're in peak minute traffic right now. I'm just happy to see some old, I'm not saying old as in you're ancient, but I love that there are people still hanging around on YouTube that I haven't seen forever. I often have days where I'm like, whatever happened to so-and-so? And then they just stumble into some random live that I'm doing, and I'm like, you've just made my year. You're still around. Whoop, whoop. Oh, I think Miss K's arrived. Hello, Groover. G'day, Groover. I'm watching an American doing a lot of reactions about Australian stuff. Ryan Was, his name is, and he so wants to come to Australia and will probably end up living here the way he goes on about this place. But he's done a lot of reactions to like Australian slang and stuff. And every time he goes live now, he's like, happy Arvo, because we say Arvo instead of afternoon. And he doesn't say good Arvo, because technically we'd say good afternoon if we were going to say afternoon. And he's like, happy Arvo. And it makes me laugh every fucking time. In his little sort of stilted attempt at an Australian accent. Happy Arvo. Bless. Sunny Bum's awesome. She's floofy and smoochy and adorable. Oh my God, my niece has a spoodle puppy, Winston. He's like maybe 6 months old now, but he had his first visit to a salon yesterday. And he had a wash, they had a bath, he had his nails clipped, he had his teeth cleaned, and he had a blow dry. And he's already this fluffy, because he's a spoodle, he's got the sort of curly poodle sort of hair. And then, you know, spaniels have got fairly thick hair as well. Anyway, Jemima's seen a before and after photo. And like, even though he's like a pedigree dog, he's a total beach dog. Like he's, you know, he's got beach hair and he's a little scruff ball. And he loves playing with all big dogs and getting dirty. And he's a little thug. He's awesome. But now he's like being bloody groomed with this blow dry. He's just this giant pom-pom. But I couldn't stop laughing because the blow dry has made his forehead like 3 times bigger than it normally is. Like it's literally added another foot of height on top of his head. And Jemima said when she went to pick Winston up, she couldn't stop laughing. Not just at him, but at the women who'd done it to him. And then she takes him home, and her partner Jackson was like, what the fuck have you done to our dog? So last night, our family's just flicking photos of Winston to each other. Honestly, I nearly wet my pants about 4 times. The conversation was hilarious. And bless him, there he is in the middle of it all. I said, he kind of looks like he thinks he looks dignified, but also looks slightly humiliated, and then also looks really proud. But bless him. But, I mean, one trip to the beach will fix it. He'll be straight in the water and he'll be back to his scruffy beach hair demeanour. Check this car out speeding. Wow. Let's do 100 in a 60 zone. So, yeah, that kept us all entertained last night was Winston's first visit to the salon. His paws, like, he's normally got these sort of, he's usually that sort of really fluffy, but he's got the cute little foots poking out the bottom sort of thing going on. Nah. He looks like he's wearing Icelandic thigh-high Ugg boots now, fluffy ones. Like his paws are like 4 times bigger. It's all hair. And even like they put some product in his whiskers and gave him like a little sort of handlebar moustache almost. Oh my God, we were just in stitches. It was so funny. Poor Winnie. But yeah, a few swims at the beach, one swim at the beach, it'll be fixed. It was just, we're all just in stitches. My sister said because I told her to go and see Jemima and Winston after work and asked her to send me photos. And the first message I got was, oh my God, Troy, you've got to ask Mem to send you some photos. She said, I didn't have my phone with me and I couldn't stop laughing anyway. It was very funny. The animals in our lives are just the best, right? Anyway, notice nobody's reacted to me losing my shit again about Winston. I'll put the before and after photo up on my Tasmania Calling community page. See what you guys think. It's too funny. Haven't even. This is meant to be. Why does this always happen? I go live on Tasmania Calling, and people come in and want to talk about Brian fucking Koberger, and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to talk about beautiful Tasmania all my life. I'm just vlogging, and then I come over to Sleuths and Smooth Criminals, and I'm talking about my niece's dog looking like a pom pom. I deliberately created 3 channels to try and make them more focused. And we're all over the shop. I mean, I have mentioned Zav very briefly. I've mentioned Natasha Cooper. But seriously, anyone that doesn't know me or my channel, they'll be like, oh, I'm following the Zav Girl Saga. I'm going to go and listen to that. And there's some bloody Australian driving on the wrong side of the road, laughing their head off about their niece's dog. Jesus, guys, I've got to be stricter or choose the right fucking channel. Last week, I'm like, oh, I just want to chat. I'm going to go live on Tasmania Calling. And I'm about to start work, and suddenly there's this full-on, intense Brian Koberg conversation happening. Oh, did somebody lose a... Did somebody lose an animal? I'm so sorry. That's so hard. It's such a hard pain. It's such a deep pain. What do you mean he's the guy talking on the stream? It's a bit rude. It's me, Joman. Winston is very cute. What do you mean who's the guy? What are you up to? Jeez, you're not very good for my self-esteem. There is no guy. It's just me. Fucking hell. Want an ego boost? Go to YouTube. Not. Want to feel good about yourself before you start work? Go live on YouTube. It'll be fun, they said. Holy shit. 16's a great age for a dog. I still think it's worth it, like as much as the pain is, because we can just give these animals the best lives, and they bring us so much joy and just the companionship and just that beautiful energy when you get home from a shitty day at work and there's this little... I think a heap of people have discovered this car park. It's getting cray-cray. Like, it's school holidays too. Like, there just shouldn't be... It shouldn't be busy. Oh, my God, I'm going to get to park in... Oh, no, it's a reserve park. Why is this car park's usually so quiet when it's school holidays? And I mean, I'm probably a little bit later than usual, but still. What's going on, man? Hey, this one's not reserved. Should see her in a thong. Ooh. What are you people talking about? This is disturbing. So disturbing. Who's in a thong? Or what we'd call a G-string, but... Yeah, concrete. All right, let me scroll back up. Another creator gave them a blast, her and NC. Zav was selling the phone. Yeah, I know. We've been talking about it for the last couple of days, Mitz K. That's exactly why I'm live about it. But Natasha stole the photo, the file that Zav Girl paid for, and then put it behind a paywall. Like, how fucked is that? Should see her in a thong. Who's in a friggin' thong? Simon, you owe me an apology calling me a dude. She was a love. I love my new one. Oh, you've got an Aussie Shepherd and Blue Heeler. Awesome. They're great. Oh, you should see me in a thong. Jesus, no, nobody should see me in a thong. Rescue, mate. What's your rescue called, Miss K? Oh, I do remember me and motherfucking Lynette. Yes. Of course I do. But I'm wondering which cat you remember, Raven, because it might have been back in the biscuit days. But I'm still curious why Joman accused me of being a dude. Like, hello. You've got just over half an hour to get back in my good books. You did see me in a thong, but it was over pants. Like, I had leggings on. I wasn't, for those of you who aren't aware of that particular live, please don't think I was strutting around on YouTube in just a G-string. I did actually have leggings on. I had the G-string over the top. Those were the days. God, we used to have some fun. And it was, I mean, I don't want to say innocent in that. I'm not, you said who is the dude on the stream? I'm going back up. Explain this comment, Joman. You cheeky monkey. Who is the guy talking in the stream? What is that all about? Explain yourself. I'm not lying about you. I'm repeating. I just highlighted it, Joman. You do need a lawyer. You've got some explaining to do. I just literally I'm not scrolling up and highlighting it again. If you missed it, that's on you. You can rewind. I'm putting makeup on. I've got things to do. My coffee is delicious, but it needs rum in it. Or something alcoholic. Jesus Christ. And I don't even drink. Well, I do enjoy the occasional social glass with friends, but all right, I'm going to put my glasses back on. You love underbites. Okay. We all love an underbite. Who doesn't love an underbite, right? Underbites are great on animals. Well, you still haven't explained it, Joman. And guy is dude. Dude is usually a word used with God. Mind you, there are plenty of people that use dude for both, well, not for both genders. There's about 70,000 genders now, but there are some people who just say dude. I mean, I've actually said dude to a girlfriend of mine once. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Who's the dude in chat or on the stream? You still haven't explained your comment. And I don't lie about anyone. I repeated your comment. Explain it. And what are you talking about, Willis? Oh shit, I'm putting foundation on and I've got to put powder on before I can put my glasses back on. You're making me scroll up to read your essay of explanation. No worries. I will. Just give me a minute. I keep getting flashbacks of Winston. It's making me crack up again. I don't know how does a blow dry at a foot of height to a dog? Just from their eyebrows up, like how does that work? Poor little guy. I mean, he seemed clueless, but Everyone else around him reacting like his dad going, what the fuck have you done to Winston? Poor little dog's like, my daddy, and the dad's just like, holy shit. What have they done to my little man? What have they done to you, Griever? Knowing Jackson, it's just picturing him even saying it. It's funny. I've got to ask Jemima how much she spent to have her gorgeous, adorable, scruffy little dog turned into this bloody, I'm off to be shown. I'm going to be best in show today. I wonder if she'll take him back to that. And it was actually called a salon. I kind of said, well, you were inviting trouble by taking him to a salon. Take him to, the down and dirty dog clipping company. Don't take him to the fluffball salon, for fuck's sake. God, it was funny, though. All right. Let's see what Jamie has to say for himself. I am patient. You said something about... Oh, don't get all butthurt. I just didn't understand, mate. I was in traffic and driving, and all I saw was, who's the guy in the stream? Like, put a smiley face on the end. Crikey. I'm not going to work after being lectured. Thank you very much. Quit pitching. What about my dog? My niece's dog? I'm going to keep putting makeup on. Somebody say something funny in chat, please. I'm not getting into a frigging discussion about genders before I go to work. What about that Zav girl, hey? What about Natasha Cooper? But like I said yesterday, I still can't believe people can even access that stuff. I think there needs to be, like with so many different areas of law, they've got to keep up with social media. The reality is people are going to buy stuff like this and it is going to get put out there, as it just has again. And the real issue to me is, I think that Zab could have exercised discretion and taken some of the really bad photos out and not put it all out there, even though she believed it was in this private Patreon. I mean, how naive to think that a Dropbox link that isn't password protected isn't going to get shared within seconds of her uploading it. But at the end of the day, the real issue is why this information is even provided, why it's even available. And, and they're under, I think so many organizations are underestimating the competitive side of so many YouTubers to be the first people to get information like that and put it out there. Like, everyone needs to sort of be mindful that there's this new sort of social media. It's almost like its own little planet where people don't have great intentions all the time. And they don't care about how this sort of stuff's going to impact the families of victims, and because they just want to be the first channel to have this information, or the first people to put these graphic photos out there, and also they're making money off it. So I think there's got to be a pretty thorough review of the reality of making this sort of information available. And to me it's like a classic example of why it shouldn't be available. What's going on YouTube at the moment and why so many channels are talking about it is because it's really fucked up. But the core issue is no one would be talking about it if she hadn't been able to get those photos. So go to the source and address that. Does Rebel Wilson have a dog show? Hello, Shanna. Hey, you gorgeous. What do you think of all the latest YouTube shenanigans? The weird thing to me is that we've all seen, bad things happen on YouTube, and we constantly go, "Oh my god, this is the worst thing we've seen on YouTube. There's no way it could get worse than this," and boom, it does. I sort of regret that I haven't kept a timeline sort of the YouTube shenanigans and just added to it each time something new's happened, and just have like this video that just keeps getting longer and longer as more shit goes down. Mind you, it'd be about 9 hours long by now after 5 years on here. But it's mind-boggling that you think that there's no way it's going to get worse than this, and boom, it does. I mean, let's all rewind back to, the first year on YouTube. What were the biggest scandals compared to the stuff that's happening now? Like, and also, I'll probably get crucified for this if anyone's a fan in here. I don't understand why someone like Queen Bee has such a big following. Like, has anyone actually listened to her? She's scary. She's just really angry and swears a lot and just sounds like she's just rolled out of bed and hasn't even brushed her teeth yet. And I'm not knocking that. I went on bloody Armchair Detectives panel without brushing, or not, panel, without brushing my teeth. I wasn't even wearing a bra, but it wasn't obvious. I hope. But she gets like 800 people watching her, and I'm like, what am I missing? Why is everyone there excited to listen to this woman who terrifies me? She's like my angry, grumpy auntie at Christmas, like, thank fuck you only have to see them once a year kind of thing. I can't believe his photos went. Neither can I. Because I was thinking about it this morning, like, thank fuck people weren't able to access photos of Shanann and the girls. I mean, that would have been absolutely fucking horrific. Knowing what the little girls especially went through. But that was a sort of topic that or the theme of my live yesterday, Shanna, was, there's a lot of outrage about Zav, but the devil's avocado in me sort of had to rewind a bit and go, well, yeah, I get the outrage, I guess. I mean, I think she should have exercised way more discretion, and even password protecting the password protecting the Dropbox would have been a good start, and using discretion and removing some of the photos that nobody ever has to see, like when they actually found his little body. She didn't have to show all of that stuff. And putting a photo of him when he was alive up against one of the photos of him in a severe state of decomposition and debating or not whether it was him because the teeth look different, like this sort of stuff. Sorry, all of you defending her, that is why people are outraged by it. It's fucked up. It is fucked up. And then along comes Natasha Cooper because someone has leaked the link out of Zav's Patreon. And I'm sorry, but if I hear any people saying She didn't make it public. She put it in her Patreon. She promoted that she had that shit on her community page on her YouTube channel. She did make it public, and she was luring people to join her Patreon to go and have a look at it. So stop saying that she didn't do anything wrong in that regard. She made it very public. She was going, guess what I've got? It'll take me a while to put it together into a little video, but I'll let you know when it's in Patreon. But then Natasha has stolen this shit and put it behind a paywall. So yeah, people are pretty fucked off. But at the end of the day, none of this fucked offedness would be happening if no one had been able to access this shit in the first place. And that is what needs to change. Oh, and then apparently Science Girl has let Gannon's mother know about it. Why the fuck would you do that? If you're so disgusted and horrified at what Zav has done, why would you alert the mother of this child victim that this is going on? Like, ignorance is bliss, people. Why do you think it's your role to contact her and tell her about it? I mean, so many people are outraged and talking about how it's re-victimizing Gannon. Well, it's re-victimizing his family too, to contact them and tell them this shit is happening on pissy little YouTube channels that don't mean a fucking thing in the real world, really. Like, they're just a platform for us all to talk about shit, whatever we want to chat about, hang out together, teach each other some yummy recipes, whatever we're doing. But at the end of the day, we're a blip in the ocean. We don't matter outside of YouTube. So fancy actually contacting the mother and saying, hey, this is going on. Way to go, Science Girl, you fucking idiot. And I doubt she's the only one that's contacted his mum. Yeah, the porn thing's a bit stupid, but I mean, I think the reason they're saying that is if you distribute photos of naked children, then you can be charged with, child pornography essentially. And she didn't blur out his genitals. I think but then also people were critiquing them. Like, it's fucking disgusting. I have very strong views about how I feel about it, but the real issue to me is change the laws so people like Zavgirl, who is a voyeuristic creator, there's no doubt about it, and if people watched her Kylie Rodney stuff, they'd know that about her. But change things so that people like her can't, or anyone on YouTube or social media can't get those files, because you can't get them here. And we survive without seeing that shit. Yeah, it is unbelievable. Oh, murder porn, Jesus. She paid $400. And then there's people saying she's allowed to put it behind a paywall. It costs her a lot of money. She needs to make her money back. No. If I'm going to spend money on something to improve my channel or information I want to impart to you guys, I don't then stick it behind a paywall to get my money back. That's just a cost of my channel. People are justifying her putting behind a paywall so that she can make the money back. I'm sorry, if you want to pay that sort of money for something, suck it up. That's your business expense. You don't bump up the prices in your shop because you've put extra expensive things, extra expensive stock in your shop and you want to cover the purchase of it. You don't do like a general across the board, everything goes up 5% thing. It's not how businesses work. I mean, some do that, but Pooch Perfect, a dog grooming. Oh, Pooch Perfect. Okay, I get the connection with Rebel. A grooming reality competition TV program. Sounds funny. Phony, Die Scam, KJ Cray, Justin a Big Mess, Recline Really Low, Molly Go Heavy, and Zav. And still it continues. And oh my God, Shanna, if you do want to laugh, listen to someone we used to watch defending Zav, and if you don't heckle every sentence and laugh and think she sounds really stupid, I'll be surprised. Unbelievable. Yeah, the root cause is it not being sealed, I agree. There's so many train wrecks. Oh, yeah, Recline even lower than Zav. Recline. How low can you go? Who's Jules of all trades? Who's that? Oh shit! What did Jules of all trades say, Miss K? Yeah. Why contact Lyndon? Is it Lyndon? Why would you do that? What a horrible thing to do. Hi there. I know that you're absolutely devastated because you've just come out of the trial of your beautiful child who was murdered and having to hear all the horrible things that his stepmother, who he trusted, did to him. But just so you know, on YouTube, this girl has got her hands on his autopsy photos, and she put them in a Dropbox but didn't password protect it. And within minutes of sharing it in her Patreon, it got leaked onto Reddit. And then this other YouTube creator stole them, and she's put them behind a paywall. Like, why would you do that? And then don't be saying, "Oh, you've re-traumatized the family, big Zav girl," and then you contact the actual family and let them know this shit's going on. And again, we're not that important on YouTube, guys. Like, hate to break it to you, it's just a platform where mouthy people hang out, or people who like listening to mouthy people hang out. Like, can have fun on here. We can be creative on here. We can learn stuff about each other's countries and cultures and cuisines and music. We can watch people in other parts of the world reacting to different countries and giving commentary and feedback. And if YouTube imploded tomorrow, guess what? The world will keep spinning around. It's not that fucking important. I think it's fun, usually, but I find it entertaining. I find it a distraction. I'm interested in all the kooks and characters you can encounter on here. And most importantly, I love the little community that hangs out with me on here. I love each and every one of you motherfuckers. I really do. But I also know we're not important. In the scheme of things. And yeah, if YouTube imploded tomorrow, the world isn't going to fall apart. A soup sandwich community. She is such a scammer, Miss K. Sadistic. Yeah, I think so, Joman. Definitely. I mean, you'd have to be, wouldn't you? You'd have to be a little bit sadistic to contact the mother of a murdered child to tell her what's going on YouTube with his autopsy photos. You'd have to get some sort of sick pleasure out of it. Either that or you're just really dumb and lacking any empathy at all. One or the other, isn't it? I agree. Exploiting others' pain is unacceptable. Imagine spending tens of thousands of dollars to expose your own moral bankruptcy. Yeah, I mean, you can't get anything like that here. And look, I did mention it yesterday in my live, but, you know, as a former criminal lawyer, like, I've seen millions of, well, maybe not millions, probably 100,000 graphic photographs. Autopsy, crime scene, you know, part of my job. And we weren't given any training in how to process that stuff. We just learned very early on that you have to analyse these photographs for the sake of the case and try not to be affected by it. And you are affected by it, but it's also just part and parcel of the job that you do. And I mean, I have an issue that lawyers aren't given some sort of training with all of that stuff, because it can be really difficult to get your head around not being affected by it and just focusing in on it and looking at it as another piece of evidence. But if I didn't have to look at any of those photos for the sake of being part of a case, I would be more than happy to not see them. And although we're not trained to process all of that sort of stuff, everyone's sort of in the same boat. So there's a really good support network, even if it's just talking to other lawyers about how they handle that sort of stuff and what they do when they get home to sort of, de-stress and get on with whatever they're doing that night. And there are people on YouTube that are accessing this stuff. It is going to imprint and they're never going to get those visuals out of their head, but they also aren't going to have support around them to help process what they've looked at. And there'll be people on YouTube going, well, if you look, it's your own fault. But the thing is, I don't think anyone expected Zavgirl to zoom in on things and compare photos of his decomposing body to when he was alive and zoom in on maggots and wonder what they are. And, they're too long and stringy to be maggots. That sort of shit that I've heard, like, what the fuck? And even if, the people that go, well, if you looked, it's your own fault, it doesn't matter. They're still going to be traumatised. They're still going to need mental health checks to process it all. Once again, look at the person who put it out. They're the people that are defending Zava going, well, anyone who looked at it's as bad as her. And they deserve what they get. It's like, go to the source. She put it out there. Then go to her source. Someone gave it to her for a price. That's the issue here. I agree entirely, Miss Kay. I think that's fucked too. I mean, we can definitely do a live and talk about all the moral and ethical concerns this story is raising. I want to. I can, to some extent, understand why people make up nonsense in true crime. But to post images like, it is going way too far. I agree. Yeah, and that's the thing, Joman. I think there's so many things that happen that we witness that the biggest question for me is how people's brains are wired that way. I know exactly what you're saying. And then, like even if say, for example, we're looking at a murder case and like say Chris Watts, for example, what the fuck was going on in that man's head? But you can't understand it unless you can get in that person's mind. And most people can't get into a mind like that because it's so fucking fucked. And all some of the characters that you see on YouTube and the shit they're doing, unless you can get into their brains, what they do just is it's too much to not justify, but it's unless you can think like they can, you're never going to understand it. And I don't want to be able to understand it. I don't want my brain one day to go, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what's happening with this Zavgirl thing. And then when you listen to the people explaining why there's nothing wrong with it, they sound like fucking idiots, lacking any compassion or empathy. How anyone can go live justifying this is absolute. And if they could justify it with good reasoning, I'd listen, but they can't. They come out with things like, if you don't want to watch her, don't watch her. If you don't like what she does, don't watch her channel. No. Explain to me why what she did is okay. Give me good reasons to say why this is okay. Dumb is a reason to. Bowling with cotton balls. Hell yeah, I love your name so much. It's been reported Zav lost her Patreon. Well, there you go. Someone was going through the terms and conditions of Patreon, and I was thinking, yeah, there's a fine line that she's walked on there, even though they're going, oh, no, she hasn't breached their terms. And there were people saying it's fair use. Patreon doesn't have a fair use rule like YouTube does. Well, it wasn't read out when someone was reading out the terms and conditions. I don't think she really cared, though. I don't think her Patreon was that big a deal from what I was listening to the other day. She doesn't have a lot of content on there. It's not a money maker for her. I mean, why would she fuck around on Patreon when she was making $30,000 a month with hashtag Team Foul Play with the Kylie Rodney story? or with Cleo Smith showing the photos of an innocent man and keeping them up on his screen, even though he was suing every media outlet in Australia for what they did. She doesn't give a fuck really about Patreon. She makes the coin on YouTube. You want to? Well, that's true too, and that's why I feel comfortable going live about this, because so many people are criticising all the channels that are monetised. But if I'll tell you right now, if this channel was monetised and I was talking about this, I would be turning monetisation off. So that's why I feel comfortable, because they can't use that line with me. And I think the fact that I continually bring up how this information's even accessible as the real issue, which most people aren't really discussing. I mean, the truth was a little bit this morning. She was saying that there should be a law against releasing any autopsy or crime scene photographs of anyone under 18 or minor. What's a minor in the US? Is it 18 as well, under 18? Exactly. And for Zav to be saying she did it for educational purposes and wants to know everything about the case, that's what the trial is. I think you're right, German. Well, I mean, God, Natasha's already demonetized, isn't she, on her channel? So Patreon would be where she'd be making her coin. But, I mean, why isn't she also being held accountable for stealing it and then putting it behind a paywall? Like, it's... These people, I act for law. I'm a lawyer. I act for some... Well, actually, my clients now aren't really shifty. There's a few shifty. There's always shifty people. But even back when I was a criminal lawyer, and I was acting for shifty people... But some of the shit I've seen on YouTube is way worse than the shit my clients did. They're fucking criminals. I don't think we're ever going to be able to understand it, because we're all like, critical thinkers and decent human beings in this community. It's never going to make sense to us. One thing I've learned about YouTube is there's so many people who would sell their soul for a nickel and a subscriber. Indeed. Yeah, and that's right, because there's a supply and demand argument too, Miss Kay. Like, none of this shit would be happening if people weren't rolling in the, like, hundreds to watch all this shit. What was that line? Do you remember Shanna going back a long time? Like, she's the sort of person, I think it was Kay who said it, who would dig up her grandmother to steal her rings. Remember that? That's what they were all like. I think I got blocked in Zavs last year when I asked her why she's entertaining a panel guest claiming there's a conspiracy and a person didn't even exist. I got blocked for telling her to take down the photo of an innocent man so she wouldn't get sued. I got blocked for that. It's the US government, or who the hell it comes from, that hard for cash they need to make a profit of selling it. I didn't even think of that angle. Could be. Wake the track up. Good to see you, gorgeous. The best blast of the year award, Jewels of All Trades. Okay, I'll check it out. Maybe we'll listen to it, because I want to go live tomorrow about this too, like from home. I don't care if we're live for 20 hours. I want us to all talk about this as much as we need to. Yeah, that's one of the things I've mentioned, bowling with cotton balls, like to not even password protect this shit. They won't even, I agree people should watch shit like that, but those two are not going to understand that perspective, because they wouldn't have put put Gannon's photos out there in the first place. And there's a name that keeps coming up, and I should have written it down. It's a girl called Nikki, and her family, like there's actually, I don't know if it's a movie or a TV show or whatever, about how her autopsy photos being released, how it impacted her family. I know that keeps being brought up as well. Yeah, the digging up the grandmother comment. Tour is really good. Do you mean it's really good, or I'm really good? Because if you mean I'm really good, I agree. So I want to end on that note, because I've got to go to work, but I think you're talking about Jewels of All Trades, but I'm going to pretend it's about me. Sorry about the misunderstanding with your little joke, Joman. Of course you can joke on here. I demand it. You've got to remember, guys, I am driving. I've got heaps of different comments going on. My head is in a certain place at the time. Like, I don't mean to upset anyone if I missed the humour in your comment. Like, cut me some slack. I've got a bit going on. And I'm also getting my brain into work mode, which is really full on. So please don't ever take anything I say that I'm pissed off or whatever. I just sometimes misunderstand what you're saying. You can put little smiley faces at the end, and that lets me know it's a little tongue-in-cheek comment. Anything helps when you've got, you're looking after your own safety, the safety of other people on the road, getting to work. You just hate me, Tori. I do not, Joman. I'm going to go on. Thanks for the cruise. You're welcome. Have a good day, everyone, too. Have a great day, in fact. It's really good, Angie. Thank you, Miss Kay. I'll go back through this because, I'm going to go live tomorrow, and I think we just need to really nut this topic out. And I'm not going live again because I'm monetized, so that's why we can do it on this channel. No one can say we keep talking about it because we're monetized. And I am going to keep talking about this because it's fucked up. One live about this isn't enough. I love yous, guys. And I'll open up my panel and... Lily, hello. How are you, beautiful? God, I'm just logging off. The only thing I hate is the word hate, Jonan. So, there, does that make you feel better? And that's a true story. Joman cooks yummy things. I could never even dislike Joman. Joman's been up on the panel, and I'll open up my panel for these conversations. But for now, I need to go. You love it when I misconstrue. Yeah, look at you, you sadist. Or you masochist. No, I'm the masochist. No, well, anyway, I'm out of here. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day. And I'll see you on the YouTubes tomorrow's. I just snorted. I'm definitely out of here. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.